All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Look, if you're an early stage founder right now, the 2026 startup ecosystem can feel, frankly, incredibly daunting. There's just so much going on. So today, we're going to decode that overwhelming funding environment and really transform it into a clear, actionable strategic playbook. We're stepping away from all the chaos and building a direct, logical path to help you scale your vision.
To do that, here is our roadmap. We'll start by tackling the wall of noise, then define the actual startup tools at your disposal. After that, we'll build your decision-making framework, navigate the unique 2026 landscape, unpack the founder's strategic playbook, and finally, wrap up with your immediate action plan.
So let's kick things off with Section 1, the wall of noise. Before we even think about building a strategy, we need to validate exactly how you're probably feeling right now trying to get your company off the ground. It's just a wall of noise. I mean, when you're constantly hearing about accelerators, incubators, government grants, angel networks, and venture studios, it usually leaves founders feeling completely blasted. It's honestly the default feeling in the startup world today. So if you feel like you're just staring at endless disconnected options without a map, you are definitely not alone. But, we can't just stay stuck in that confusion. Our whole goal in this explainer is to cut straight through that noise and replace it with a focused, highly effective strategy. Success today means knowing exactly how to pick the right resource for the specific stage your company is at, and more importantly, understanding how to actually leverage it for tangible growth. Moving right along to Section 2, defining the startup tools. Okay, before you choose a path, you absolutely must understand what the vehicles actually are. Let's look at the classic difference between an accelerator and an incubator. Think of an accelerator as a fast-paced boot camp. It's usually 3 or 4 months designed purely for speed and scaling an idea that already exists, usually ending in a big pitch day. On the flip side, an incubator is a much slower, more open-ended environment. It's really focused on hatching an idea from scratch. They serve entirely different stages of your startup's lifecycle. The crucial thing here is understanding the distinct trade-offs of each tool. Accelerators give you seed capital and a great network, but they're going to demand around 3 to 8% of your equity. Incubators might just charge you fees without taking a slice of your company. Venture studios, they'll actually embed their own engineers and marketers right into your team, but in exchange, they're taking a much larger equity stake. And then, of course, you have grants. These are the magic words, non-dilutive funding. You get the capital to support your R&D, and you keep 100% of your ownership. Knowing exactly what you're sacrificing for growth is the absolute foundation of your strategy. But hey, never underestimate the human element in all of this. Did you know mentored founders actually achieve 3 times better outcomes? It's wild. Investor networks and accelerators provide what we call smart capital. It's not just a check, it's their expert advice, their massive Rolodex of connections, and their credibility transferring directly to you. Honestly, this is often the most valuable part of the entire exchange. All right, on to Section 3, the decision-making framework. I want you to actively play along with this thought experiment right now. Think about your startup today. What is your single undeniable need? Is it just raw cash to keep the lights on and survive? Is it expert guidance because you're totally stuck on product development? Or is it the network you need to reach those crucial first major customers? You really have to identify that one critical bottleneck, because your answer dictates your path entirely. This is the priority matrix. Every single day, you are weighing capital, network, and mentorship against your willingness to part with your equity. If expert guidance is your absolute top priority, then trading a little equity for a top-tier accelerator makes total sense. But if you fiercely need to protect your equity and simply need cash to fund some heavy research, well, you should be hunting exclusively for non-dilutive government grants. Your number one need dictates the tool. And remember, actually, scratch that. It's crucial to remember. This answer might completely change in 6 months. That brings us to Section 4, navigating the 2026 landscape. 60%. Let that sink in. A staggering 60% of Y Combinator companies this year are expected to be AI-focused. This single statistic is a massive flashing sign showing exactly where the gravity of the market is pulling right now. We are seeing these major, specialized accelerators popping up exclusively to fund and support AI companies. So what does this mean for you? Well, because the generalist programs are leaning so heavily into AI, you must be incredibly targeted. If you're an AI founder, you're looking at places like Excel and Google Atoms. But if you aren't building the next big AI model, you need vertical-specific programs. If you're in health, look at Halcyon. If you're specifically in mental health, look at SeedSpot. You have to find those niche programs that are explicitly searching for your exact type of solution. Okay, let's level up with Section 5, the Founder's Strategic Playbook. This is where it gets really fun. It's fascinating how we can elevate those foundational choices into pro-level advanced tactics. You can dramatically extend your runway using what we call the stacking strategy. Basically, you don't just pick one route. You pair an equity-based accelerator, which gets you the network and that vital seed money, with massive, non-dilutive resources. For example, imagine securing $150,000 in Azure and OpenAI credits from Microsoft, and then stacking that with $200,000 in cloud credits from Google. You're literally stacking these resources to artificially inflate your runway without giving up a single extra percentage of your company. It's brilliant. And that brings us to an incredible pro move, all about timing. If you time your VC pitch right after announcing a major grant win, let's say something like the Braze Tech for an Equitable Future grant, you are leveraging that external stamp of approval. Think about it. A major grant tells venture capitalists that a serious, rigorous organization has already vetted your idea and put money behind it. You walk into that pitch room with massive leverage to negotiate a vastly superior valuation. Now, we've got to talk about the traps where this playbook can go completely wrong. Fatal flaw number 1. Chasing the brand name. Please beware of chasing a shiny logo just to slap it on your startup's website. You have to verify if the program actually offers structural support for your specific industry. We see founders get in, give up a chunk of equity, and then just suffer through incredibly generic mentorship and terrible post-program support. Don't let vanity drive your strategy. And then there is fatal flaw number 2, the grant timeline trap. Look, government and foundational money moves at a snail's pace. It just does. Don't let slow grant payouts kill your startup because the cash finally arrives 3 months after you've emptied your bank account. The solution here is to build a blended capital stack. Mix in venture debt or revenue-based financing to bridge that cash gap and keep the lights on while you wait. Simply hoping the check arrives in time is not a funding strategy. A blended capital stack is. Finally, let's bring it all home with Section 6, your immediate action plan. Let's wrap up this explainer by giving you some hyper-specific marching orders. I really want you to follow these 3 precise steps to stop endlessly reading blog posts and start taking strategic control of your future. Step 1, open a doc and be brutally honest with yourself. Write down your number 1 undeniable need for the next quarter. Step 2, based entirely on that need, create a custom shortlist of just 3 to 5 laser-focused programs. And step 3, reach out to an alumnus. And I'm telling you, step 3 is literally the ultimate cheat code. Reach out directly to program alumni to hear about their actual experience. Send a quick DM, ask for just 15 minutes of their time. This is exactly how you bypass the polished marketing copy and get the absolute unvarnished truth. Ask them bluntly, did the program actually help you raise your next round? Was the mentorship real or was it just fluff? So I want to leave you with this final critical thought. Which specific tool are you going to leverage today to cut through the noise and scale your vision? Armed with this matrix and this playbook, what is the single most important move you will make right now to transform your startup's trajectory? Don't let the ecosystem overwhelm you. Choose your tool, make your move, and go build something amazing.
Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the Kukua Institute's guide on something absolutely crucial, transforming AI from just a basic writing tool into a rigorous strategic thinking partner. Now, if you're building a business right now, you know exactly how noisy it is out there. Literally everyone is telling you to use AI, right? But here's the thing, most people are using it completely wrong. Today, we're going to fix that. Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start by talking about why you need to stop writing like a marketer. Then, we'll explain the LEANSTACK method, unpack the magic prompt kernel, and dive into reverse engineering and discovery. Finally, we'll look at using AI as your founder mirror and remind ourselves why AI is not the founder. Let's get into it. All right, part 1. Stop writing like a marketer. So I want you to ask yourself a really provocative question right off the bat. Are you using AI to write like a marketer or think like a founder? Because look, if you're just asking it to churn out blog posts, write polite emails, or draft social media captions, you are totally missing out on its true power. It's supposed to be an analytical engine. Basically, you're treating a supercomputer like a typewriter. There is a massive paradigm shift we need to make here. See, generic AI advice, it just flatters you. It gives you surface-level facts and unverified opinions. And yeah, that might make you feel good in the moment, but it doesn't help your business survive. Founder intelligence, on the other hand, demands hard evidence. It uncovers hidden structures in your market and generates actionable artifacts like test scripts. It's a total game changer. Moving right along to part 2, the LEANSTACK method explained. The Kukua Institute puts it perfectly. LEANSTACK is not just analysis. It is a founder intelligence method. What that means is it's a deliberate practice. It's designed to take your gut feeling, your founder intuition, and turn it into concrete insight, definitive action, and tangible proof of work. It isn't just summarizing data. It's about seeing the actual architecture underneath your business. So how does it actually work? Well, the method forces the AI to scan through 9 distinct lenses or layers of reality. It starts with a simple surface reading, sure, but then it actively hunts for weak signals. You know, those tiny clues that could explode into massive trends. It checks for your founder blind spots. It ruthlessly separates your actual evidence from your mere opinions. And finally, it demands artifact conversion and next actions. It forces the AI to stop giving you theory and start giving you a roadmap to test your assumptions out in the real world. Which brings us to part 3, the magic prompt kernel. To activate all those lenses, you must embed a very specific instruction into every single prompt you write. It goes like this. Run the LEANSTACK method inside this response. Do not flatter me. Help me see what I'm missing. By copy-pasting this exact kernel into your tool, you're setting incredibly strict boundaries. You're explicitly telling the machine, hey, I want a highly critical, incredibly rigorous thought partner right now, not a cheerleader. Okay, part 4, reverse engineering and discovery. Let's see how this plays out in practice. Normally, founders just ask AI what to do, right? And it spits out some generic to-do list. The LEANSTACK method flips that entirely. Instead, you feed it your end goal and it works backward to build a rigorous execution roadmap based on actual evidence. First, it defines the end state proof, like what would actually prove you hit the goal. Then it maps the required milestones, exposes the core assumptions that absolutely must be true for the path to work, and finally, it designs fast validation tests so you can prove those assumptions immediately. This is incredibly powerful for customer discovery. When you're synthesizing interviews, the AI isn't just validating your original hypothesis. It's instructed to look for specific behavioral triggers. It looks for the push forces making their current situation painful and the pull forces attracting them to your new solution. But critically, and this is huge, it also identifies anxieties that block action and ingrained habits that keep them stuck. You get a completely realistic picture of why a customer will or won't actually switch. Let's look at part 5, AI as your founder mirror. What are you avoiding? Because it is uncomfortable. Seriously, think about that for a second. By feeding your pitch, your business plan, or even just your weekly updates into the AI, it will respectfully but directly confront you with that exact question. As founders, we get so emotionally attached to our ideas, right? We kind of ignore slow traction because, well, it hurts. But because the AI has zero emotional baggage, it can expose your blind spots with absolute clarity. This creates what's called a ruthless evidence versus opinion audit. For every single claim you make in your pitch deck, the AI generates a breakdown. It lists the actual evidence you provided, the hidden assumption behind your claim, the risk to your business if you're wrong, and the immediate test you need to run to validate it. It is literally the ultimate reality check before you ever step foot in front of an investor. You can even use this as a daily or weekly thinking partner. Just prompt the AI to analyze your activities against these specific points. Did something actually move forward, or did it just feel productive? Did you create actual evidence this week? Were assumptions tested? What weak signals appeared in your customer chats? Doing this brings intense discipline to your everyday routine, ensuring you never, ever mistake mere motion for actual progress. Finally, part 6. AI is not the founder. We have to draw a clear, uncrossable boundary here. An AI thinking partner is an incredible system to reverse engineer, synthesize, and pressure test your ideas. But listen to me, it cannot execute the vision. It relies entirely on human judgment and real-world evidence for success. AI is not the founder. You are the founder. You have to take ultimate responsibility here. The AI can give you the perfect interview script, sure. It can give you the most logical lean canvas ever created. But you cannot outsource the hustle, and you absolutely cannot outsource the accountability. Customers, real-world evidence, and your actions, those are the only things that determine if your venture actually survives. So what small move will create your most momentum today? I want to leave you with that final provocative question from the LEANSTACK framework. Use AI to gain clarity, to strip away your biases, and to find your leverage points. But once you have that insight, it is entirely up to you to log off, run your next experiment, and build something real. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into some absolutely incredible insights from the Global Startup Ecosystem Report 2026, specifically looking at a recent deep dive analysis of that data. We are going to explore a massive economic shift that is happening right now. But more importantly, we're going to look at how mid-sized cities, places like Pensacola, for example, can stop playing defense and start building real AI native wealth. This isn't just about learning how to use new tools. It's about fundamentally reshaping local economies. Let's get into it.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the AI wealth migration. Second, the AI literacy trap. Third, the agentic AI opportunity. Fourth, the job expertise advantage. And finally, building the founder pipeline.
All right, Section 1, the AI wealth migration, unpacking the global consolidation of tech value. So looking at the big picture, the macro data reveals a vital truth. AI is not just another software update. It's not merely a tool adoption cycle. It is a massive, structural ecosystem value migration cycle. The global startup economy is literally being reordered right in front of us, and the places that recognize this shift early, those are the ones that are going to capture the future of job creation and economic growth.
To put the sheer scale of this into perspective, get this, 66%. That is a staggering number. Right now, 2/3 of all global ecosystem growth is being captured by literally just 3 cities: Silicon Valley, Los Angeles, and New York. Think about that. The vast majority of the world's new startup wealth is consolidating in these massive North American hubs. Value is racing toward the ecosystems that are actually producing AI, leaving everybody else fighting over the remaining third.
And you can really see why this consolidation is happening when you track where the big money is going. Over a 4-year period, funding for AI-native startups skyrocketed, growing by an astonishing 218%. Meanwhile, funding for the rest of the tech sector actually shrank by 36%. Now, to be fair, this late-stage funding is heavily skewed by massive foundational AI deals. We're talking about Anthropic's $30 billion raise and OpenAI's jaw-dropping $120 billion raise. But the underlying signal is loud and clear. Capital is becoming incredibly selective, and it's aggressively migrating toward AI-native companies. Now, we've got to be super strict about our definitions here. Just slapping ChatGPT onto your pitch deck or adding a quick chatbot to your website, that doesn't make a startup AI native. An AI native company is one where AI is the absolute core of the product, the market, or the business model. Without AI, these companies simply wouldn't exist. It's a completely different breed of venture. So why does this distinction matter so urgently? Because AI native startups are growing 10 times faster than the rest of the tech sector. 10 times. They're raising money faster, they're securing larger rounds, and they are driving almost all the new ecosystem value. What this means for mid-sized cities is that waiting for an organic transition is basically a death sentence. If an ecosystem just waits around hoping this will naturally happen over time, they are going to be entirely left behind. Moving on to Section 2, the AI literacy trap, and why adopting AI tools just isn't enough. This brings us to a really critical inflection point. When a new technology arrives, the very first instinct for most mid-sized cities and local chambers of commerce is to host training workshops, right? Teach people how to use the new tools. But we really need to strongly contrast 2 very different strategies here. First, you have AI adoption. This is playing defense. It's teaching tool literacy and helping existing businesses become more efficient. But ultimately, when you just buy software licenses from massive tech hubs, you're acting as a consumer. You're sending your local wealth straight to Silicon Valley. Compare that to AI native creation. This is playing offense. This is about building new value, generating venture-scale outcomes, and actually capturing and keeping that wealth inside your local ecosystem as a producer. J.F. Gauthier from Startup Genome really hit the nail on the head. He said corporate AI adoption sends more and more money towards Silicon Valley. It does not create this engine of value creation. I really want to emphasize this point. Helping your local logistics company or your local healthcare provider adopt AI is good, defensive economic policy to keep them competitive. For sure. But it completely fails as an AI native wealth strategy for your city. You don't get rich just by using someone else's product. All right, Section 3, the agentic AI opportunity, which is the highly winnable lane for mid-sized cities. If competing with Silicon Valley on massive infrastructure isn't the answer, what is? I want to assure local founders and civic leaders right now, you do not need massive data centers and you don't need billions of dollars to compete in this new economy. The crucial point is this: you don't compete with OpenAI or Google on building foundational models. That's a highly capital-intensive game for the massive hubs. Instead, you build agentic AI. These are the highly focused applied AI businesses built on top of those foundational models. Agentic AI solves specific contextual problems for real customers, and this is exactly where local hubs can absolutely dominate. And the data backs this up in a massive way. Agentic AI accounts for 45 times more startup creation than foundation models. 45 times. It attracts 9 times more seed deals. Series A funding for these companies is growing at a whopping 58% annually, and they get funded significantly faster than the rest of the tech sector. This proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that agentic applied AI is where the real grassroots venture creation is happening globally right now.
Which brings us to Section 4, the Job Expertise Advantage, where we are redefining the tech founder.
So who is actually going to build these agentic AI startups? This is where we see a fascinating shift. The very definition of what startup talent looks like has fundamentally changed. The new competitive advantage? It's not necessarily knowing how to write code. Nope. The advantage is deep industry expertise and intimately understanding broken workflows. Think about it like this. A generic AI researcher in Silicon Valley has no idea what it's like to wrestle with a hospital's chaotic, outdated 1990s pager system at 2 a.m. But a local nurse? They absolutely do. They are perfectly positioned to translate their knowledge of a broken workflow into a massive AI-native venture.
For a mid-sized city like Pensacola, this is exactly how you win. You lean hard into your unfair advantage industries. Pensacola is rich with domain experts in military and defense, cybersecurity, aviation, healthcare, maritime, and logistics. By leveraging these specific local domain expertises, founders can build highly specialized applied AI companies that a generic tech team in a coastal hub wouldn't even know how to begin solving.
Finally, Section 5, building the founder pipeline, taking us from raw ideas to hard evidence. How do we systematically build this ecosystem from the ground up? Well, it starts with a number, 1,000. According to Startup Genome, a city's goal needs to be reaching roughly 1,000 AI-native startups in a given category. Why 1,000? Because that's the density you need to spark shared learning, attract serious investor confidence, encourage talent mobility, and ultimately capture true, long-lasting ecosystem value.
So here is the exact step-by-step playbook to get there. It begins by identifying people with deep job expertise. Next, you have to validate problem evidence. Do they actually understand the customer's pain? From there, you design the AI concept, ensuring that AI is truly the core to solving that specific friction. And finally, you secure a customer pilot to prove a willingness to pay. It's a systematic pipeline designed to convert grassroots industry knowledge directly into a validated AI-native startup.
But to make that pilot a reality, cities really need to create what's called a venture client pathway. Listen, AI founders don't just need mentors who are going to buy them coffee and give them a pat on the back. They need hard evidence of demand. This means recruiting local organizations, local governments, and businesses who are willing to step up and be early buyers and testers. By pairing early AI startups with local venture clients, you generate the real-world validation that investors demand.
So we'll wrap up this explainer today with a pretty provocative question for every civic leader, ecosystem builder, and potential founder out there. Will your city be a consumer of the AI economy or a producer of it? The wealth migration is happening right now, whether we're ready or not. The window of opportunity to stop playing defense and start building AI-native wealth is wide open, but it's not going to stay open forever. The time to organize your local expertise into a startup creation system is today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test no. Let's see. Test 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. So it stopped working. Test 1, 2, 3. Test no. I guess it's working. Let's see. All right. So hopefully you can hear me now. Okay, apologize for that. Somehow or another switch microphones. I'm not sure what caused it to do that. A microphone that I'm not even using. But just make sure you get this document here and use those prompts to the best that you can, and go ahead and make sure you get access to our stuff by going to apply.kakuainstitute.org. You can Google my name if you have trouble finding it. Let's see. I said yeah. I think we should be good to go here tonight. With the thing. So just feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I do office hours from 1 to 3 p.m. on Saturdays. So just feel free to reach out if you need any help on anything. Yeah, there's so many founders out there that are struggling with the simple stuff, and it's just really time to move forward. If so, for me and for you, so you know, with the AI stuff, so you take these ideas from tonight because they'll take you a lot further than what you without them. And yeah, it because like once you get your Lanika prompt, it actually, it's like doubling, tripling your capacity. You can analyze way more stuff. And I was showing you what, like for example, this document, and I lost track of what I was doing. So this my prompt is literally analyzing this document, and it's what it's really about. You know, all these things you see here is literally analyzing those and all the patterns that are in the document, and it's telling you the strong stuff, and it's telling you like this is the strongest sections are in that document, or the master Nietzsche founder analysis prompt. So it's telling you that's the secret sauce in there. Reverse engineering prompt, the customer forces recent switchers prompt, the evidence versus opinion audit, AI discoverability and funding readiness, evidence versus inferring. So the AI does inference, and if it doesn't have the evidence, it can infer something. But evidence is much better. Hidden structure, stuff that you can't see visibly, that's those things. Yeah, so it's really explaining all this stuff here. Weak signals. So there are some things in here that are not obvious, but AI discoverability. So I'm just telling you, there's so many blind spots. You know, so I told you the Kakua Institute, it tells what's in there that's good for Kakua Institute. It tells what's in there that's good for Black founders. And it's giving me some next actions here. So it's telling me how I can improve the document, and it's you know, yeah, it's telling me all these things, recommended next actions. So what I do if I'm interested in those next actions, I'll just tell it to proceed to next Sometimes I just say proceed, and that's good enough. And I probably could have said that. I'm not sure why I'm doing all this typing. Yeah. So what it'll do, it'll literally go generate that stuff that's going on there. And for some reason, I put it in the high thinking mode, so I apologize for that. And I should have left it in medium. So it's telling you what it's thinking about. I very rarely change that out. I typically always leave it, where in the medium or something like that. So it's showing me all this thinking that I don't want to see. It's reading the document. Okay, so now it's telling me what my next actions are. So it's literally telling me, how to update the guide. It's and to make it more useful. And my question is, does your AI does that? We both use ChatGPT. Does your AI do that? And yeah, and then and let me take it off this high thinking here, and I'm gonna just show you one more trick that I use. I said, please analyze this entire prompt thread with my Vending system. So it'll go back and analyze everything in this chat thread, and there's a lot of stuff in this chat thread. So this is just a simple thing. But if you got a long chat thread, it'll yeah. So you can analyze the analysis. So it's basically what it's telling me. You got all these prompts, but I should create a routing prompt so you don't have to go searching for which one to use. That's a pretty common thing. You see, it's still prompting. Blind spots. Yeah. And a lot of times this stuff is in so much detail. I just don't even waste time reading it. I just dump it over in the notebook LM and let it reflect it back to me with a podcast or whatever. So I hope this kind of stuff is helpful. I'm just trying to encourage people to go ahead and create their Leanika prompt if you haven't created it, and just start getting value out of information. I don't know how long that ecosystem report. It could have been 300 pages. I would never take time to read all that. I just synthesize it and extract the information I need out of it. And I learned my lesson. And as you can see, yeah. So let's see. Did it? It says, do not add more content yet. Build the operating infrastructure around the content. Yeah, and so I think it just wants me to do that routing thing. Next 7 days, 30 days. So recommend action, evidence tracker. Alrighty, so I can talk forever about this stuff, but I appreciate you all listening in, and just proceed ahead, and we'll see you all next week. Try to get a security guy on here, so you all can know how to start implementing security earlier in your build process. Thank you all. We'll see you all next week on the 2nd, I believe, just before the holiday. All right. Appreciate you all. See you all next week. Bye-bye.